Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, because hip-hop just got hit with a scandal so wild. Even 50 Cent had to pause his trolling. Dipset's very own Jim Jones has officially been snatched by the feds in what might go down as the most dramatic plot twist in rap history since Tupac started beefing with Biggie. Yes, you heard that right, Jim Jones has been arrested, and not for a parking ticket or unpaid child support. No, this is federal-level orange jumpsuit type chaos. We're talking full-blown drug dealing allegations, secret surveillance, and a leaked tape that just exploded all over the internet like a bad mixtape no one asked for, but everyone's watching. How did it all come crashing down for a man who once proudly screamed, "We fly high"? More importantly, who set him up? Or was Jim really out here moving weight like he was in a 2002 Street DVD? And the real kicker? The tape. Oh yeah, there's footage and it ain't behind the scenes of a music video. It's the kind of clip that makes the FBI reach for their handcuffs and Instagram reach for the popcorn. Buckle up, because this rabbit hole goes deep, and we're diving headfirst. Let's rewind the clock, because before Jim Jones was yanked off the streets and cuffed in front of flashing cameras, this story was already boiling beneath the surface. Jim wasn't just a rapper making headlines for his music, he was a man tangled in whispers, phone taps, and shadowy meetings that painted a picture no one expected. From the outside, he looked like just another Harlem-bred success story. Behind the flash, the chains, and the performances, there was a network of coded conversations, private flights to nowhere, and silent partners who didn't dare show their faces. For years, rumors swirled about Jim being deeper in the game than anyone could prove. People thought it was just street talk, exaggerated by the blogs. But now, with federal prosecutors stepping forward and secret surveillance footage being unsealed, it turns out those whispers were dead on. According to sources inside the investigation, this isn't a case that popped up overnight. This was years in the making, with confidential informants, wiretaps, and undercover recordings that tracked every step he made. We're talking coded. Language in phone calls, pickups happening at odd hours, and money being funneled through shell companies. Not to mention connections to known traffickers who were already being watched. What blew this case wide open wasn't just one sloppy move, it was a slow burn of arrogance. Jim got too comfortable, thought no one was watching. But the FBI was listening to every word, following every move, and piecing together a network that ran deeper than anyone imagined. The first major red flag came when Jones was spotted at a so-called networking dinner in Miami that just so happened to be attended by two men currently under indictment for interstate trafficking. Coincidence? Hardly. From there, the paper trails started to form. A wire transfer here, a late-night meet there. Security footage captured him entering a luxury condo in Atlanta, known to be a front for laundering operations. The problem wasn't just that he showed up, it's that he stayed for hours, left with a duffel bag, and returned with a new Rolex. Now, tell me, who buys a new Rolex at 3 a.m. without hitting a store? Investigators took note. But what really set this whole thing ablaze was a leaked audio recording that landed in the hands of a federal prosecutor just 6 weeks ago. In the clip, a voice believed to be Jim's can be heard negotiating shipments and territory management, in a tone that was far from metaphorical. The context was crystal clear. This wasn't about records or merchandise. This was a coded conversation about distribution, and the feds knew it. From that moment on, they didn't just watch, they prepared to strike. Jim had no idea the trap was tightening. He was still doing press runs, showing up at clubs, Kane acting like the king of the culture, while his entire empire was being dissected behind closed doors. And when the bust finally happened, it wasn't subtle. It was a full-force operation with black SUVs, SWAT teams, and undercover agents who'd been embedded in his circle for over a year. The footage is damning. Jim being led away in cuffs, his expression frozen between shock and fury, the realization sinking in that this wasn't a prank or misunderstanding. This was real, and it was massive. Social media exploded. Of course, some fans cried foul, others said they always knew. But it was the industry insiders who raised eyebrows, especially those who had seen the signs but stayed quiet. Deals that didn't make sense, money moving faster than music, sudden disappearances from business meetings followed by random vacations. Now it's all coming into focus. But the most shocking part? Jim wasn't acting alone. The feds allege a group of over a dozen individuals were involved, with roles ranging from logistics to laundering to enforcement. And yes, some of them were people you've seen before: rappers, promoters, managers, all allegedly part of this silent empire. The deeper they dig, the more names are starting to surface. And let's just say, if you thought this was just about Jim, think again. One particularly damning discovery came in the form of a burner phone seized from one of his associates, which contained a spreadsheet detailing routes, dates, and coded terms for narcotics and cash pickups. When matched with GPS data and surveillance logs, the case became airtight. No speculation, just facts. Cold, hard, undeniable facts. Now Jim's team is scrambling. His lawyers are spinning every angle, from denial to deflection to trying to throw doubt on the audio tapes. But insiders say the evidence is overwhelming. One former friend even hinted that Jim might flip to save himself. And if that happens, a whole lot more people might be going down. The streets are talking, the labels are panicking. And the narrative around Jim Jones has shifted forever, from rap legend to criminal mastermind. That's what prosecutors are pushing. That while the trial hasn't started yet, the court of public opinion is already making up its mind. Still, there are questions that remain unanswered, especially about how long this operation ran, who funded it, and whether some of those business ventures were just elaborate covers. The full scope hasn't even been revealed yet, but one thing's for certain: this isn't the end of Jim Jones' story. It's just the beginning of a saga that's about to shake the industry to its core. The streets of Harlem are buzzing like a hornet's nest after a stone cold bombshell dropped straight from the underworld of hip-hop and secret deals. And if you thought the Jim Jones saga couldn't get any messier, oh honey, buckle up. Because what started off as whispers in dimly lit studios has turned into full-blown screams, bouncing off courtroom walls and jail cell bars. Just when we thought the Dipset general was sitting back, sipping champagne and reliving his glory days, he's now caught smack in the middle of an alleged narcotics empire, complete with coded phone calls, shady offshore accounts, and enough surveillance footage to make the FBI blush. Leaked tapes allegedly featured Jim's voice arranging deliveries with terms so vague and smooth, you'd think it was a verse from a mixtape. At this time, the punchline ends in handcuffs. Sources say one of the most damning recordings captures Jones laughing with an unnamed associate about making moves out west, where the cash is clean and the merchandise is cleaner. And no, we're not talking about Dipset t-shirts. Investigators claim the audio was pulled from a phone that had been tapped for weeks, tracing back to a burner stashed in a Maybach parked suspiciously close to a known stash house. And get this insiders say this isn't Jim's first rodeo in this secret syndicate. Remember that cryptic Instagram story he posted a while back? The one with stacks of cash and a cryptic caption about loyalty and silence? Well, now, those words are being dissected by authorities like they're clues from a mob movie script. Meanwhile, online sleuths have gone full CSI mode, analyzing every frame of old music videos and live streams for subtle nods and hidden meanings. One TikTok creator claims Jones wore the same chain in 3 different videos filmed near buildings linked to a WAS drug ring that's been under federal surveillance for months. Coincidence? Maybe, but in this game, there are no coincidences only. Warnings ignored. And the drama doesn't stop there. An alleged former associate known only as Ghost reportedly came forward under immunity to drop a tidal wave of receipts. According to Ghost, Jim wasn't just a passive investor or a clueless friend. He was the architect. Jim didn't just show up to meetings, he ran them. Ghost claimed in a statement that's been circulating like wildfire across shady blogs and private Discord servers. This same anonymous source claims Jones had multiple safe houses across New York, Atlanta, and even the Dominican Republic, where he'd funnel assets and arrange logistics using aliases that tied directly back to old mixtape names. The irony. And while Jim's team remains silent, the silence is starting to feel like a confession. His lawyer has issued a robotic no comment. His close circle is suspiciously quiet, and his social media has gone from flexing to crickets in a matter of days. Meanwhile, mainstream media is still playing catch-up, but in the streets and all across Black Twitter, the verdict is already out. Memes, conspiracy threads, and reaction videos have flooded every platform you can think of. Fans are torn some screaming free capo, while others repost screenshots of old interviews where Jim low-key bragged about never having to touch the work and always being 5 steps ahead. Sounds strategic or incriminating. And as for the rap game, it's shaking. Some artists are scrambling to distance themselves, while others are suspiciously deleting pictures and tweets. One rapper even dropped out of a scheduled collab, claiming unforeseen circumstances. But we all know what that really means. There's blood in the water, and everybody's trying to make sure their name ain't next on that docket. Even more shocking is the alleged involvement of 2 record executives, reportedly tied to funneling dirty money through legit music ventures. That's right, this ain't just a street-level operation. This might be a hip-hop Illuminati nightmare come true. Imagine investing in a tour only to realize the merch truck was moving more than just hoodies. And while the feds haven't released an official list of all those implicated fees, one leaked internal memo mentions a network of entertainers and media influencers possibly involved in laundering money through giveaways, crypto projects, and fake sponsorships. And right in the center of this swirling hurricane of chaos, Jim Jones, the Harlem rapper who once told us to ball till we fall, might have just balled too hardened. Now the fall is playing out in real time, with every click, share, and repost dragging him deeper into a pit that feels almost impossible to climb out of. As court documents begin to stack and anonymous insiders keep leaking more tapes, it's becoming painfully clear that this ain't no PR stunt, no viral campaign, no clever rollout. This is the real deal, the kind of story that flips careers upside down and sends shockwaves through the very foundation of the culture. And the scariest part? You might just be scratching the surface. And just when you thought it couldn't spiral any further, here comes the chaos no one saw coming, but everyone secretly expected. As the streets kept buzzing and social media couldn't keep quiet, more pieces of the puzzle started clicking into place, and baby, they did not paint a pretty picture. Behind all the glitz, the Bentley rides, the lavish dinner parties, and the signature fur coats, the man who once screamed loyalty and hustle had allegedly been running more than just music. Sources close to the investigation claimed that D had been quietly watching Jim Jones for months, maybe even years, waiting for the right moment to drop the hammer. And that moment came with a series of audio recordings that reportedly caught him discussing coded terms, obscure drops, and even referring to VIP shipments that had nothing to do with merch drops or fashion lines. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is all hearsay, let's talk about the footage leaked from what appears to be a surveillance drone. That's right. This ain't no low-budget tabloid leak. This is military-grade footage showing what looks like an exchange happening near a luxury condo linked to Jim's inner circle. And guess who was supposedly on-site coordinating everything? Yep, your boy himself, dressed casually like he's just out for a vibe. But it doesn't stop there. An alleged ex-associate came forward anonymously, describing how Jim had built a secret network using club promoters, tour managers, and even a couple of disgraced bodyguards as runners. The operation, according to this source, was clean, quiet, and cash-heavy. They claimed that for years under the nose of the public. Luxury vehicles were used to traffic substances under the guise of tour equipment, and that major drops always happened around music festivals or city pop-ups where nobody would blink twice at heavy movement. The tip-off? A wiretap that was allegedly placed months ago after federal agents traced suspicious cash patterns linked to one of Jim's companies that hadn't reported legitimate earnings in over 2 fiscal years that triggered an avalanche. Investigators began tracking every call, every meeting, every transaction tied to the LLCs registered under his brand. One particularly damning moment involved a suspicious luxury watch purchase. Made in Dubai, reportedly bought in crypto, which officials claim was a cover for a high-value exchange. And if that didn't raise eyebrows, then the string of international flights to obscure locations definitely did. Flights that lined up eerily with major busts across Europe. Now pair that with whispers from insiders at a major record label, who hinted that Jim had been warned about an internal probe, and instead of slowing down, he allegedly ramped things up. Some are even speculating that the arrest was delayed intentionally to give law enforcement more time to stack undeniable evidence. And when they came, baby, they came heavy. Full SWAT-style raid, helicopters overhead, doors smashed in. And apparently, Jim was caught mid-conference call, not with his lawyer or his agent, but with someone allegedly labeled in the report as the South Plug. The entire block went into a frenzy. Neighbors claimed they saw flashbangs. Some even reported seeing crates being wheeled out of the garage, while others say men in tactical gear were carrying hard drives, safes, and luxury bags filled with unknown contents. One witness, a retired cop who lives nearby, told an unnamed blog that it looked like something out of Narcos. Social media exploded once the news broke. One viral tweet read, "Not Jim Jones talking about the weather on IG Live while feds outside packing up his empire." While another said, "Plot twist. The Dipset reunion was just a distraction while he built a narco empire." The memes came hard. The takes came faster. And everyone from academics to hip-hop bloggers began speculating on how deep the rabbit hole goes. But the loudest chatter wasn't even about the arrest. It was about who might have flipped. Multiple fans pointed fingers at past collaborators, people who had a falling out with Jim and suddenly found themselves back in the limelight. Could someone inside his team have cut a deal? Was there a Judas in the crew? All no names have been officially confirmed. The streets and the timelines have their suspects. Meanwhile, the music industry has gone dead silent. No one wants to speak publicly. Not even the usual clout chasers who thrive on scandals. It's as if a blackout order has been issued and everyone is just waiting to see who else is about to get caught in the fallout. 'Cause let's be real, operations like these don't happen in a vacuum. If Jim was really involved, he wasn't working alone. It's a whole infrastructure behind this. And the fear now that the dominoes are only starting to fall. From ghost producers who might have been laundering money through Beats, to seemingly innocent tour photographers whose names are now reportedly on a list of persons of interest. The web just keeps getting messier. Even a former assistant who once bragged about booking 5-star hotels in Europe now has gone completely off-grid. Phones disconnected, social accounts deleted. That doesn't scream innocence. That screams panic. And if this is the panic stage, we haven't even hit the full explosion yet. Prosecutors are said to be building a case so tight, it'll make RICO cases look like kindergarten tantrums. And let's not forget, this is all allegedly happening while Jim's management team continues to deny everything, calling it a gross misrepresentation and a targeted smear campaign. But the evidence, the whispers, the timing, it all stinks. It reeks of something darker, deeper, and way more orchestrated than anyone wants to admit. If you made it this far, you already know this story is bigger than just headlines and viral clips. It's about betrayal, secrets, and the harsh reality behind the fame.
Our Jim Jones
Arrest isn't just another celebrity scandal. It's a glimpse into a world most people only hear about in rumors. So if you want to stay one step ahead of the drama, don't just watch from the sidelines, be part of the conversation. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because the receipts are just starting to pour in. We're bringing you the unfiltered truth, the behind-the-scenes chaos, and every leak the mainstream media won't touch. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Jim was really involved? Or is this just another takedown of a powerful black artist? Either way, the court of public opinion is wide open. Then trust me, we've got more footage, more insider info, and more jaw-dropping exposes on the way. Stick with us if you want the full breakdowns, not watered-down stories. This is where the real story lives. Don't blink, don't scroll. The next twist might be even wilder than this one. See you in the next drop.